All right, let's unbox our new printer. You'll need a sharp knife and a pair of snips. So I'll start by cutting the seal across the top and along both sides. Next, I'll open the flaps. And on top of the package, there's a notice about adjusting the voltage. We'll want to make sure ours is set to 115. We'll look at that a little later. There's a user manual, a printed user guide, and also a USB thumb drive. And also on top is a flexible steel sheet. This is an option. You don't have to use this, but if you choose to, you can switch out the glass bed for this magnetic steel sheet. It's held on to the build plate with a flexible, with a magnet, and the steel sheet itself is flexible, and that can help tremendously in taking your prints off when they're finished. And we will look at that option later as well. But continuing with our unboxing, I'm holding the flaps. Well, first I'll take the top piece of corrugated cardboard off, and now holding the flaps to the side of the box, I'm going to tip it sideways, and then I'm going to tip the box upside down carefully and slowly. So now I can grab the handles on either side of the box and let gravity do its work, and just pull the box off straight up and over. Now I'll carefully tilt the machine back onto its side and then back upright, so it's facing upright. Next, I will take off the plastic bag that's covering the machine. So just tilt the machine one way and then the other way to remove the bag. There's another piece of cardboard, shaped cardboard in the top that just lifts out, and in that piece of cardboard is the power cable. So I'll set that aside for now. I guess I'll pause here to say that some of your machines may be packed slightly differently, so they don't panic. Just go along with the instructions as best you can, as closely as you can. But I've noticed over the years that the company changes the way that it packages machines over time, but they should be more or less the same. You'll notice there's lots of plastic protecting the finish of the machine, held on with tape and clear plastic strips. So you can just carefully remove all of that. There's some along the bottom edge and the other bottom edge. There's yet another cardboard tray that just slides out the front. And in this tray, there's a little tool kit. Which you can open up. In the toolkit, there is a spatula, which is helpful for removing prints from the build plate. There's a Phillips screwdriver, a flathead screwdriver, a couple spanners or wrenches, a needle, which can be used to help clear clogs from the nozzle, a little packet of grease for lubricating the bars that the bearings slide on, some spare PTFE tubes. These go inside the extruder assembly. Again, if you have a clog, often you'll need to replace those. There's a spare knob for the bottom of the build plate and a spare nozzle as well. And a glue stick. This is just PVA glue, the kind that's used in schools with the children. So it's water soluble. It washes off with water. And this is used to help prints stick to the build plate. And then there's a hex wrench set as well. Back up at the printer, we'll see there's a PTF guide tube that guides the filament from the back of the printer and into the extruder. And it's being held onto the cable harness that leads from the internal part of the machine to the extruder assembly. To take out the bottom cardboard tray, I'm just going to carefully, with my hands on both sides, slowly raise the print bed enough so that I can just slide the tray out, and then I'll let the print bed go. In the bottom tray is a small sample of filament and also the filament spool holder, which attaches to the back of the machine. On the front, remove the rest of the plastic that's covering any part of the machine, the top front, the screen. The print bed itself, the build plate, is covered with plastic, but I can't take it off until I clip this large zip tie, so that's where the clippers come in handy. The print bed is just naturally going down. That's fine. I'm going to try to find the end of this tape underneath so that I can peel it off. Okay. That looks good. There's nothing else in place there. So I'm going to move the camera now to get a closer view of the zip ties that are on the inside of the machine. Okay, for the zip ties that are on the inside of the machine, I urge you to use extreme caution so as not to accidentally clip any of the belts or any of the wires that the zip ties are close to. It would be very easy to do, and if you do that, unfortunately, that's user error, and you'll be responsible for repairs at that point. So be very careful. I'm going to start with the large zip ties. Yeah, just being very careful where I cut to make sure there's nothing nearby. And also being careful when I pull them out. So those aren't too bad, but now we've got 3 little black zip ties, and they're marked with caution tags, which is good. so it alerts you. But they're especially problematic because the zip ties themselves are black, and the belt that they're holding in place are also black. So probably the safest way to do this is to clip the zip tie above the tag itself, so you're kind of sure that you won't be accidentally clipping the belt. And then take those off and remove them. Do the same thing over here. And then on the other side, okay. So that's good. Looking at the back of the machine, see there's a slot into which the filament spool holder slides into. And then on the top, the filament guide tube goes into the hole at the top of the extruder assembly. And on the side of the machine, where there's a warning tag, that's where you want to check the voltage switch to make sure that it's on 115. I notice back in the front that I missed a couple plastic protective strips, so I'll take those off. And the last step is to remove your power cable and plug it into the back of the machine and into a wall outlet. So there we go. The machine is fully unboxed and ready for leveling.